Good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And welcome to Kitchen Table Issues. And help me welcome Jane the Seeker, who is our special guest today, and Cleo the Seer, who is normally with me. Hello, ladies. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here. And hello, everyone that is coming in the chat. Nice. I know the notice has just run out, so that is fabulous. So, what's new in your world there, Jane? What's happening on your channel?
Oh, on my channel? Well, because I'm not at my home base, I haven't been doing a lot on my channel. I've just been I've been going on other people's channels, but yeah, I did on your when you were celebrating your 3,500 subscribers, that got me over 1K. So thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that's happening.
Yeah. Excellent. That's wonderful. And yeah, you were on yesterday with Michelle Marie. That was lovely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was able to catch some of that. So that's fabulous.
Yeah.
And you, Miss Cleo, what you got going on?
Well, it's been September was a pretty slow month. Things are picking up a little bit the first 2 weeks of October. I have, let me see here. I've got polyterology tomorrow.
Nice.
And everybody loves that show. And on Monday, I've got Caffeinated and Unfiltered. And then next Thursday, I've got Golden Girls. So for the next week, that's what I got going on. And while I'm talking, I just want to ask everybody to please subscribe to my channel. Here, everybody's getting thousands of subscribers. I haven't hit 1,000 yet, so I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel.
Yes, please, everyone do that. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. It helps us get the message out to people who want to hear, who need to hear what we're saying. They just don't know where we are. So when you do that, when you do the like, share, and subscribe, it just raises our the algorithm and gets us out in front of a lot more people.
Yeah.
And speaking of subscribing, I've heard over the last couple of days that once again, you need to go and check your subscription to the different channels that you normally go to, because once again, YouTube is dropping people. What metric they use to determine who gets dropped, I have no idea. But yeah, I've heard from some of my subscribers who have said, hey, what happened to the notifications? All of a sudden, I'm not getting any notifications. And so, yeah, I started telling folks today, just take a moment, make sure that you are subscribed. If you've been dropped for any reason, just hit the subscribe button and take it from there. So, and
wow.
also,
I'm glad you mentioned that. I did not know that. Plus, now that you bring it up, I've noticed that too. I'm like, where is everybody on my news feeds thing?
Yes.
So yeah, I'm going to start checking that out.
Thank you. Absolutely. So it takes a couple minutes to do it, but you only have to do it once. And then, and usually the big clue is, when you don't, when you just kind of stumble in on a show and you're a subscriber and it's like, I didn't get notice. First thing to do is make sure that you're subscribed and that you've hit the bell, because generally that's what it is. So.
Oh,
yeah. And if you're interested in booking a reading or gifting someone with a reading, you can go to my website, which is marinasheartcentertarot.com. And you'll be able to do that on there. You can also take a look at the different courses and classes that are on offer and when they start and all that kind of good stuff. So make sure that you do that and look into membership. There are benefits to being a member, from getting Sunday, I put out a weekly update, kind of, what's coming up for the week. And different levels offer different things at the alumni level. The big thing is a free 15-minute reading with me every month.
Wow.
Yeah, that alone is worth the price of admission. So
Absolutely.
there you go. All right. And if you're interested in getting a reading with Cleo or Jane, just get in touch with them. All the info is in the description of the video. So make sure you reach out to them and set something up.
Well, actually, I don't do readings.
What?
I don't do private reading. I know.
What?
I just don't. I've decided I don't. That just doesn't. I just don't have the time to do all the things I need to do and do that as well. So I'm not doing it. Maybe later, but I don't know. I've first I was just putting it off, and now I just decided no. Face it, you don't want to do that. So I don't do readings, private readings like that. I do them on here for free. So
yes, absolutely. There you go. Yeah. So check out YouTube. I think that most of us use our community tabs to keep in touch with you guys and let you know kind of what's happening, what's going on, and that kind of stuff. So check on there, and you'll get lots of things. So okay, now this is kitchen table issues. This is when we do a little bit of political chit chat about the newsmakers and why they're making news and who's who and why they're doing what they're doing and all that kind of good stuff. So just quickly want to say hello to a few people. So hello, Sherry, Voices from the Swamp. Hello, Lorraine Orr, Angela Rivera, Martha M. Martha, we're not doing any personal readings, but you know what? You can, just send me an email. Okay. So we've got Rose Blue, Debbie Three Shifting Veils. Hello, Book Bewitched, Chris Queen, Lightseeker, Connie B, Jenny Berlin, Lori Huntsinger, Butterflies Are Free, Bora Bora, Laura Hammond Davis. Thank you. Maureen D'Amico, Artist Liz. Aspasia Rising, Cleo the Seer. Who's that?
I was going to say for Martha M, that we can collectively send out some white light and some good positive energy to help out with your mom and or your mother-in-law.
Absolutely.
And I will definitely be doing that. I'll make a note of it.
Perfect. And Mimi is here with us. And yes, thank you, Mimi. I'm celebrating a birthday on Saturday. So Aley is going to be hosting a little get together on her channel. So make sure that you swing by her channel, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, you'll go over to Aley Heart and Soul Connected, and you'll see it on there. So if you want to come join, please do. I love a good party. Okay. So one of the things that I saw in the news today is, dear Tina Peters. Tina was the county clerk in Colorado, and she allowed a security breach in Mesa County in the voting system. And for those who don't remember, she was the lady who said, what? It's not like I'm going to jail. Well, karma heard and said, not so fast, sweetheart. She was sentenced to 9 years today.
Wow. Well, 9 years. Jesus.
9 years in prison. So, you think that's a good enough sentence to send a message to some of the other people who might be thinking maybe, we might want to fiddle around with the election system or with the computers or anything this time?
Well, do we know what she actually did? Did she fool around with the computers? Did she try to
Yeah.
be an elector or whatever they're called?
Yes, actually, I think what she did was the security breach was that she allowed someone who was linked with, and this is if I remember correctly, okay, entertainment purposes only, someone who was linked to Mike Lindell. And yeah, and this was, I think, before the voting was finished or whatever. Anyway, she compromised the voting system.
Okay. So 9 years, that's a pretty healthy sentence for something like that.
Mhm.
But I think that the other people that might think about doing something like this, because there's been a bunch of people that have gone to
Yes,
prison
there
for
has.
doing this kind of stuff.
Thank
I
you,
don't know
Martha.
how long as sentences they got, but you could probably look at, 9 years would be the minimum.
Yeah,
It could go much higher. And
absolutely.
it's just such a just immoral thing to do. Why in the world would you do
Yes.
something like that? So, and I'm really concerned about Trump's followers about this in 2024, this election. I've been concerned for about 2 years now, because every time he talks about a rigged election, I know he's talking that, hey, I'm Donald Trump, I'm going to
Yes.
rig the election. So, yeah, I mean, this is a really big deal. I did also get some on a psychic level that there's a bunch of people that are watching for this. And then I think I saw a news thing not too long ago that didn't specifically go there, but they were saying that people are really watching. They've got people at the polls, they've got people watching the computers, they've got people watching the counting of the ballots much closer than before. And so
Yes.
Trump has figured out every way that didn't work to rig the election. So I'm really concerned that he's going to do it this time. And we all know that if he loses, which he will, he is going to come back with God knows what. And we'll just see if his followers step up. Because, there's over 900 people or something that are in jail right now because of January 6th. So that's what you got to look forward to if you want to jump on the Trump wagon.
Yep, absolutely. What do you say, Jane?
I had a thought and it went away. I I remember what I wanted to say now. Thank you. I'm so glad. Okay. Everybody, please check and make sure that you are still registered to vote, because they are kicking people off the voter registry. Certain states, I think it was Virginia, I'm not sure, or somewhere where they kicked a whole bunch of people, like 350,000 people or something like that, something crazy. So make sure that you do check and make sure that you are registered to vote still.
Yeah,
absolutely. And keep checking up until you vote and you get confirmation that your vote has been received. Keep checking, because the closer that we get to November 5th, the more panicked that they are going to be, and the more shenanigans that we're going to see. It's not going to work, and precisely for the reason that, yes, too many people are watching. Too many people are now watching and aware, and where before they might have seen something that they weren't quite sure what they saw, and they kind of walked away going, well, that was weird. Now they're going to say something. Now they're going to point it out, and so on. So
I just want another thing I wanted to say, because I'm a precinct chair, and so I run one of the precincts where I live, but I can't this year because I'm here taking care of my mom. But the I lost it again. Oh, they have been offering us extra security at
Oh,
the
good.
polls.
Great.
Yeah, so that is going on. So if anybody was like, I mean, yes, if you can vote by mail, vote by mail. But if you want to come in and vote, but you're a little hesitant because you're wondering, is there going to be some big Trumpian person standing there going, you know, and no, there won't be. There can't be. And if you run across one, you need to call 911. So that's not allowed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't care what
No.
anybody says.
Right.
That is not allowed. We could have
Exactly.
security guards inside if we choose to, if the
Yeah.
precinct chairs choose to. But yeah,
Oh,
no, nobody's allowed to stand outside and go, "May I see your ID, please?
yeah.
I'm
Here you
buying
go. Yeah.
I'm buying bread. I need my ID."
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that
I
about?
left it in my other Mercedes. I'm sorry. I'll come back with it.
Right.
Yeah. And Interplanet Janet said, hello, just arrived. I'm an election judge this year. Good for you.
Good.
Good
And
for
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Because
Yeah.
I know I always have to get a judge and a clerk. And the judges do make more money than clerks, but you do have more responsibility. Yeah, you have to go with if you're on the Democrat side or the Republican side, but everybody
Yes.
a Democrat and a Republican have to go and take the ballots to the station, and you have to go together. And I found out that the Republican on the precinct that I was working for, he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll take them." And I'm like, "No, you can't do that."
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that's just
We can take them together. There you go. Yeah. I'll hold the box while you drive. How's that?
Yeah, because I don't even know, because I'm in Indiana, and you know we are very red. And if Mike Braun gets in, we're in big trouble. He's running for governor, and he doesn't believe that people should have interracial marriages. But anyways, that's enough of Indiana.
How far behind is he?
I know, and I was like, okay, you know, so we've had interracial marriages for years, since well, it hasn't been years, but I think it was 1963 or something like that.
Yes.
My son is married to a Mexican woman, and she is half Mexican and half Korean. You know, I mean, like, where do we draw this line? So can she only marry somebody that's half Mexican and half Korean?
Yeah.
We already have we're all mixed up. So anyway,
I didn't know
that's
if people are even talking about this kind of stuff anymore. I mean, it's just,
yeah. What does it matter?
care? What the hell do you care who marries who?
Exactly. They're not forcing you into it.
It's
But,
it's the great white replacement theory.
yes.
They are afraid. I even heard a real live human friend of my mother's at Starbucks every morning. I have to sit at the MAGA table, and he was even saying, well, you know, I asked my dad after the Second World War, why'd you have so many kids if you couldn't feed them? And he goes, because we have to make lots of white children. Seriously, that's what he said.
Oh, God.
So I want to say thank you, Artist Liz, for becoming a new member, and Norm Gilbert for becoming a new member, and Catherine Routier for becoming a new member. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, speaking of marriage and blah blah blah, and horrible things and so on. Trump said that he would absolutely revoke the legal status of Haitians and deport them if he's elected.
He wants to deport every single person that isn't,
Yes.
and those Haitians are all here
Legally.
They're legally here.
Legally.
So it's going to be, if he were to get in, which he won't, because the Simpsons already predicted that.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the Simpsons prediction video.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
and you know what was really funny? You know, the Simpsons was about Springfield, Ohio,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Trump
Imagine.
talking going to Springfield, Ohio. I keep wondering, is this actually what the premonition of the Simpsons was? That he goes to Springfield, and oops.
They have, you know what, the writers, I am sure that they've got some remote viewers on the staff because there are so many major hits that they have gotten right. That it's yeah. It you do it once, hey, good for you. You do it twice, okay. You do it more than 3 or 4 times, it's not an accident, right? It's not, I mean, there is, synchronicity, but this is just a little too much. So I think that they probably do have remote viewers on their staff. And why not? And
You
why
know,
not?
I did not know. I do remote viewing, some remote viewing, not a lot. It's not like my forte.
Oh,
But, when I do go into other people's energy, I never even thought that I could go into the future. So, wow, that's really interesting.
yeah.
That's a mind.
Yeah, well,
Born in
it's
my
yeah. Yeah, I think that I mean, we know anything is possible. Anything is possible between the different timelines and so on. So, yeah, Cleo, what do you think about Trump said he will absolutely revoke the legal status of all the Haitians and deport them?
Well, I do see into the future all the time. That's a Cleo the seer, as I'm a
Yeah.
future tripper as well into the past. And I see that that's just, it's just so wrong that it won't happen because it's just, he's talking about people that are already legally in the country
Yes.
as well as illegals, I suppose. But I mean, he's really focusing on just anybody and kicking them out.
Yeah.
No, that's just not, I just don't see that happening
He's
because
focusing on black and brown people.
well,
That's who he wants
fortunately,
out.
he's not going to be in office to do such a thing.
Yeah.
But if by, oh God, it would just be so catastrophic. I mean, just let's keep moving forward with Kamala Harris because she is going to be our savior in the end. Because those crazy things like removing
Yes.
millions of people that are here legally, but they're from another country that they should be shipped off to somewhere else
Yes.
is absolutely, well, it reminds me of the Jewish concentration
Yes.
camps and things like that.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
no
Yeah.
way in hell are we going to accept something like that.
No, it's
You know,
almost, and yeah, Rose Blue said Haitians in Florida may help flip it. Yes, there are, and I read this last week, there are over 500,000 Haitians that live in Florida. Trump only won Florida by 314,000. So if he is determined to piss off that many of the black, brown, and other than white people, they're going to come out in droves because now it's their livelihood, it's their family, it's their friends that could be part of that. He's losing his mind more and more every single day. So
Yes, he is.
yeah, the stuff that he's going to come out with are is going to be incredible, just incredible. But know that that's what happens when your mind starts to shrivel.
But the weird
yeah.
part here, and this has been going on forever too, is he has supporters. And I'm talking about Republican politicians. His VP pick, JD Vance, who is just going to be, if Trump was to get in, he won't last there long because JD will be taking over. But the fact that that he is so you know, he says the most outrageous things, and then he has the support of these Republicans. This is why we not only have to have a Democratic president, we have to have Democrats in the House and in the Senate and taking over, because otherwise we're going to have we're going to have the same kind of problems we've been having, that you've got a lot of people lying. They know they're lying. But, you know, a lot of people don't understand that. Those Trumpsters, you know, that totally support this stuff, they think that that's for real. And they think it's for real because why wouldn't they? All the Republicans are backing Trump up on stupid things, and it's really dangerous. So, you know, go Democrat.
And a lot of them will side with him. There's a lot of them will, like I saw with the dog workers union, they were interviewing a few of the union members, and one of them said that, well, yeah, he thinks he's going to vote for Trump. And he was asked, well, you know, what about the January 6th? And, oh, I haven't been following that. I don't know all the details. How can you not know? It's been splattered for the last 2 years everywhere, right? Okay. So yeah, there is that handful that are willing to die with him, and that's fine. That's fine. Maybe they needed to go at that time. And you know, they will have fulfilled their life contract for what it was they were supposed to do, and they may or may not come back. It depends. But yeah, they're
But Marina, it's just like the thing in New York where he committed all these frauds and ended up with 34 felony convictions. There's some people that are looking at that saying, oh, you know, whatever he did, it wasn't that big of a deal. No, what he did was a very big deal. It was a felony, and it was, you know, and he was convicted by 12 people that don't, you know, they don't benefit one way or the other. They looked at the facts, they looked at the law, and they said, you are guilty, and it is a very big deal. But that's what a lot of these Trump supporters just pass it off as, nah, it's no big deal. And
they have to. Yeah, they have to, because they've been supporting him and standing by him in light of all the evidence that has come out. They've dug their heels in. Well, now the more that is exposed, the more wrong that they realize they are. And I mean, there are those people who even to the believer, no proof is necessary. To the non-believer, no proof is enough. They're going to die on this hill with them, because there is no way that they can actually come out and say, oh my God, you guys were right. I was in a cult. No, they're going to do what Trump does. They're going to double down. And that's okay. It's a small handful. Let them. You know,
it will take years. It will take generations to overcome the crap that Donald Trump has created, beginning in 2016 and just going right on with it. I mean, it's just bizarre. This, you know, to see something like this happening in the United States. But, you know, hopefully we can get back to being more civilized, and to stop with the lying, that especially lying, it's so unnecessary. Some of the things Trump lies about, and Vance too. I mean, keep an eye out for this guy. He's maybe more dangerous than Trump. And
he is.
Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, I absolutely have been seeing this, that if, and he's not going to win, but if Trump, that the plan, this is the plan. The plan is they are propping up Trump with JD Vance. They really want JD Vance as president. So as soon as, if they were to get in there, they would 14th Amendment Trump. I mean, they're going to do this. This is what their plan is. They would, isn't it the 14th Amendment? They would 14th Amendment him, and JD Vance would be president, and we would have a toddler for a president, because that child has only been in office for like a year and a half.
Yes,
And he was
exactly.
only installed there because of a multimillionaire who liked his mascara. I sorry.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know, as long as we're talking about JD Vance, well, let's take a little look at the debate and how you think the debate went.
I thought the debate was really good. I thought, you know, at least we didn't have people attacking one another. They were being cordial. They were being semi-polite, mainly because of Walz and what he has to offer. Now, I know they're all saying that Vance won because he's so polished and he did this and that. No, Vance lied throughout the entire thing, just like Trump. It's just that he was more polished in his lies.
Exactly.
You know, he just let it flow, and you were just like, "Wow, I didn't know that." Oh, wait a minute, no, that's not true. But you know, he just had a way of just dishing it out and and shamelessly just lying to us. Where at least Waltz was not a liar. And Walz came out, I thought he came out with some really good facts, but they don't seem to be focusing so much on that. But then in the midnight hour, in the final end, he says to him, "Are you going to accept that, you know, the 2020 election was right, was legal, and that Biden was the winner?" And he will not answer that. He still won't answer that. And that right there, he loses. He loses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tim Walz is not a debater, right? That's not what he does. He's a teacher, he's a coach, he's, you know, a lot of things, but he's not a debater. JD, on the other hand, well, you know, that's what he does. Is he gives the word salad and tries to deliver it in a very nice way, and see, I'm being cooperative and I'm being conciliatory, and you know, and I know, and I defer to you because you're my elder, and that's what's happening on the outside. People can see through that. I can spot a sleazy salesman a mile away, and so can most people. So I think he came across as polished, um, only because he wasn't as nasty as Trump probably wanted him to be. I do agree that I anticipated that he was going to be a lot more interruptive than he was. So I will give him that. But there is no doubt in my mind that Tim Walz won that because people could relate to him. He's like the guy that, yeah, you could sit next to or whatever in a coffee shop and have a conversation and walk away thinking, hey, that was a really nice guy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What do you say, Jane?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm a Democrat, I really think that I heard Walz said, "I wish I would had smiled more," or because he always had this on his face, kind of look on his face, you know, and I understand that because this guy over here is speaking gibberish. But that would have been, but maybe, you know, I mean, that's one little tiny little thing to pick on. Of course, Walz won. I mean, if in real life, like for real life situations and everything, you know, Walz all the way. Vance,
Not a truthful word. Not a truthful word out of that man.
And that was interesting. They didn't even they fact checked the presidential one, but they didn't. They said we are not going to fact check but this one, and why is that? Is that because
until they did, when there was something that Vance was asked, and he was doing the the tiptoe dance and whatnot. So he was asked again. He was asked a third time, and still he was tiptoeing and gave out some misinformation. And one of the moderators called him on it. This is where he started to go downhill, when he said, "Hey, I thought the agreement was you weren't going to fact check me." And so he was jabbering, and Tim Walz was going on, and the moderator said, "They can't hear you. Your mics are muted."
Yeah, I remember that. It was great.
Yeah, I remember that too. And they weren't. Yeah, I remember that because you could still kind of hear them, but they're like,
yes, yeah, but you couldn't. But why would there need to be an agreement? Yeah, I agree with Lorraine Orr. If you're telling the truth, why would you have a problem with someone fact checking you? Fact check away. There it is. It's in black and white. That and the fact
all he ever did was talk about what Kamala Harris hasn't done. And it was not true. Trying to make her look bad.
And calling it Kamala Harris administration, the Kamala Harris administration. She's the vice president. There's nothing she can do. She is in her position at the pleasure of the president, and she will do what the president tells her to do. She doesn't have any authority on her own. Just like JD, should you ever find yourself in that position, your hands are going to be like this because you can't do shit.
Right.
So, and she never was the border czar. That was never a thing.
No, but it was one of the things that I heard after the debate, and this was from Trump posting on Truth Social that really got me angry. Is he called Tim Walz Tampon Tim.
Yeah, they're doing that because Tim Walz is all about, he wants them in the bathrooms for, is that a bad thing that this man wants to help women set us up for success? I mean, I can remember being in high school or junior high or whatever, and gotta go home now. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. So, I thought that said more about Trump than it does about Walz.
Well, and Tim Walz is the kind of person that wants to help people. He's not interested in being the label of vice president. I mean, he just kind of fell into this thing, but from what I understand, he's been a great governor, and he's all for everybody having the equal rights.
Yes.
And it was a real surprise that he talked about his son being involved in or being at school or something when there was a shooting or something like that, and that he's actually experienced that. And both, Kamala and Tim are talking about gun control and things that they can do about that, even though both of them do own guns and use them for whatever, hunting or whatever they do with them. And I mean, he's all for women's rights, that, women should be able to do what they want to do with their bodies, and, all those good things. So I'm really beginning to really love Tim Walz. I mean, he's really good. And what Kamala is going to do for all of us is just, it's going to be a complete 360 of what we've been used to for the last, even though Biden, I mean, he's done a lot of stuff, but he's not getting any credit for it. And he never did for this. It's so irritating to me that the whole time Biden was president, he would do something great, but then we'd have to hear about Trump's court cases, or Trump's going to run, or Trump is running, or Trump said this or that. And Trump is constantly saying that Biden's the worst president we've ever had. That kind of stuff just drives me nuts. It's just a terrible thing that they have not ever given Biden the credit he deserves. But
history will do that. History will do that. Because Trump is necessary to point out where all the pitfalls are. And Biden and Harris and a lot of the population are paying attention to where the pitfalls are. And when they get in, they're going to do everything that they can to shore up those potholes and everything else and make sure that it can't happen again. That's when Biden is going to be recognized for the incredible president that that he was and that he is. He put country ahead of himself,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that speaks volumes for him. So I think he's going to go down in history. He really will. And yeah, Kamala and Tim Walz are going to do a fantastic job. And yeah, their hands must be free to do whatever it is that they need to do. So yeah, I agree with you. They need the White House, they need the House, they need the Senate, all of it. Let them do the job of governing instead of having to deal with these, little children who are having temper tantrum because I didn't get my way. That's not fair. Billy got more pudding than I did, and that's not fair. Yeah,
Well, you know, I've brought this up before on this show and other shows about that. I was just walking around one day, and this was like last year, and there was nothing on my mind, and so I love it when these kind of things come to me. But all of a sudden, I hear Kamala Harris is going to be an amazing president, and
yes.
I'm like, okay.
Well,
I said, wait, did you just tell me Kamala Harris is going to be? I said, I thought we were working towards Biden here. And they just said, Kamala Harris is going to make an amazing president, which again, I thought that meant Biden gets in, Kamala
yes.
takes over, and we see that's not the way it went. But they are still telling me that out of the blue, I won't be thinking about anything and, fixing dinner. And then Kamala
Yes.
Harris, she's going to be a great president. So there, it's written. It's written in the stars. This is what's
Yes.
going to happen. And I just don't see it going any other way.
Yep.
Well,
Absolutely.
we
Absolutely.
we
Now,
we need
I
super
mean,
oh yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, we need that super majority that when you have all of the houses that and because number one, we need Hakeem Jeffries to be the speaker because
yeah.
that will be amazing, and then we need to codify Roe v. Wade, and they need to do something about the gerrymandering. Gerrymandering has got to stop. It has to stop. I understand that precinct or areas, they change a little bit according to population, but
Yes.
the gerrymandering, the maps that I see, they're so weird. It's like, no, that's got to stop.
Yeah. You're red, you're not, you're red, you're not, you're red over
Right.
here. Yeah. So that like,
Mhm.
I think it was in, was it 2020? I think that they were showing some of those maps, and it was like one side of the street is in one district, the other side is in the other district.
Yep.
How does that make sense? That if anyway, yeah, that a lot needs to be done, and that's why Kamala and Tim are going to be in there for their 2 terms in order to
Yes.
get things done.
Yes.
Now,
Oh,
Melania,
yes.
Miss
Oh,
Melania has come out, and she did a little video, and it has to do with her book. And I mean, if you saw the video, you kind of go, "Oh my God, gross," because yeah, it's all in black and white, and she's got her pose and so on. Well, she believes in pro-choice. She has come out and said that, yeah, women's health care is it's a private choice. And I thought, oh, Lord Almighty, have you met your husband? Like, did you 2 talk about this beforehand? And
she did it to she stuck the knife in
yeah,
him. It's what she
yes, and I think she's trying. I think that part of it was she did it to try to get a little more traction for her book. It's, you know what, Reading something like that is, those are brain cells that I will never get back. Those are minutes in my life that I will never get back. And given a choice between, you know, pulling the hair out of the bathroom drains and reading her book, I'll take the bathroom drain. So yeah, not going to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, let's take a look here. We're at 45 minutes. This should be interesting kind of thing. Oh, our friend Jack Smith. Just when you thought that you could say Jack Smith, oh, they put him in a corner and there's nothing he can do. And he comes out with this 168 page or whatever it was to go in front of Judge Tanya Chutkin. And Judge Tanya said, yeah, looks good to me. Let's put it on the internet. Let everyone have a read. So what do you think Trump lawyers are doing right now? What do you think is their next move?
Oh, they're scrambling. They're scrambling. They want to discount this, particularly before the election. They can sit around and talk about, well, this just came up because it's right before the election. Just like it's just, similar to what Trump did to Hillary Clinton right before the election. But the whole thing is, I read part of that brief. It's not very brief, but the whole Jack Smith, and I knew he was going to do something like this. He's dotted every I, he's crossed every T. He is backing up his whole argument about, was this presidential or was this a private act on Donald Trump's part? And that's exactly what he submitted to Chutkin, is exactly what she needed. Yes. And the fact that she put it out on the internet, some of the stuff is blocked out, but it's names and stuff that we don't, that's not necessary anyway for us to know about that. But, what Jack Smith is doing is, I don't know how they can get too pissed off about it. I don't know I don't think the lawyers can do anything. It's their fault that this has happened on the timing that it has happened, because Trump's lawyers kept pushing it out, trying to get beyond the election. Fine. Well, that doesn't mean other stuff wasn't going to come out.
Yeah.
And no, I think he is going to have to face the music finally, not before the election, but just so that everybody knows. And that brief is going to make a difference with, there's people out there that are watching this, that are reading that and going, whoa, I didn't know that. Oh, really? Because nothing in there is a lie. This is all the truth. This is all the fact, what was really going on. And the things that Trump said and did during that time, and how he didn't give a damn that they wanted to hang Mike Pence, or they were chasing after Mike Pence. And he said, so what? I mean, it's just amazing what is in there. Yes. And if this document doesn't change some people's minds, there's something wrong with the country, because we cannot have a president that acts like Donald Trump, and, I see so many things working against Donald Trump. I just am floored by the polls, that everything is so close. Now, I know you've said, we need to keep it up because it makes sure that we get out there and vote. But on the other hand, I'm like, what are the people thinking? I mean, this is craziness. The man with the felonies, the man with the lies, the man who didn't do anything that he said, the border wall, how his pride and joy was putting 3 judges on the Supreme Court that he knew could manipulate to get rid of Roe versus Wade, which, why in the hell they even wanted to do that? I mean, I know it's, there's been, it's been a bone of contention over the years, but for the most part, it's worked out very well to have legalized abortion and just women's health in general. So all of these things that you did start to add up with Trump, it's just amazing that that they can say that it's 50-50 or it's this or that. I mean, I am hoping in the end it turns out to be something totally different when the votes come in and things start to happen November 5th. But yeah.
Cleo, it will. You know, you can skew a poll any way you want, depending on how you ask a question and whatnot. And
And
you
who
know,
the
I've
people
often
that you're
said
asking? Are you asking Republicans? Or are you asking
exactly.
Democrats? You know?
No, they are reaching the population that they know is going to that they're going to get the answers that they want. So who are they reaching out to? They're reaching out to people who pick up telephones. Who picks up telephones? Older people living in rural areas. And probably could be, you know, it's grandma, she's sitting at home alone and the phone rings and, oh, it's a wonderful young man, we'll have a little conversation. Oh, you're so sweet to talk to, thank you so much. That's who they're getting in touch with, because they know how those people are going to respond, right? If yeah, I get sometimes on my phone, I'll get a number and I don't recognize the number, but it might have like Ipsos research or something on it. I'm not interested. No, I don't, because I know that I can skew a poll to give me the information that I want. Why would I participate in something that I know is going to be skewed? It's a waste of my time. So I don't bother. And I think a lot of people don't bother as well. So where they're getting their information from is very limited. And usually those you know, they will poll 100 people, 500 people, and they will say that those 500 people represent the whole country. They don't.
No.
They represent 500 people. That's it. So
well,
I think
also you got
don't let the polls get to you. Don't pay attention to the polls. You know ahead of time that it's all BS. So,
and also all the foreign interference, you know, right along with all these other lies. I mean, it's hard to know. You know, I understand how some people just grasp onto what they want to believe.
Yes.
But they're not ever looking at the facts. To me, it's just, and I'm thinking about doing a show on this about why in the hell is anybody voting for Donald Trump? I just don't get it. I mean, there's just no reason to put him back in there. And I mean, not only is his cognitive ways going way downhill, just looking at him, I'm thinking, you do not look right. You don't look well. I mean, he's got this greasy, sweaty, orange face all the time. And I'm tired of I'm tired of looking at it. But I'm also tired, like a lot of people in the country, tired of the chaos. Yeah. I mean, if it was even boiled down to just that, at least you're not going to have chaos like this with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. So, you know, it is just a crazy thing. And I can't believe how fast it's going, that we're just like a month away.
I know.
From
voting.
Yeah.
But I do have a little bit of insight, just because I'm here with my 90-year-old mother, who happens to be, she won't say that she's MAGA, but she's MAGA because she has Fox News on 24 hours a day. And I was like, please, Mom, you're eating up too much of this. But anyway, even though every single morning I remind her that I almost died because I had a tubal pregnancy, and if they would not have been able to remove that tubal pregnancy, I'd be dead. And I remind her of all of her great-granddaughters. Yes. And I'm like, Mom, any single one of those great-granddaughters, if you vote for Trump, you are signing their death sentence.
Yeah.
She's still voting for him because she is a Republican. And nothing matters who's running. It's all because she is Republican, has always been Republican, and always will be Republican. Yeah. And that's just and watching Fox News all the time, they may have a little blurb about something every now and then, but no, they aren't talking about, they don't talk about this stuff. They don't talk,
Mhm.
they're not talking about the Jack Smith. They're not talking about, they're not talking about the real kitchen table issues. They're
Exactly.
not.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
Except that in the last day or two, there was a guy on Fox News who did come out and actually on Fox News said that, oh my gosh, we've just looked at the Jack Smith documents that were submitted, and it looks like the president was guilty of crime. And it was, my son actually yelled to me from across the house, oh my God, Fox News just said Trump is guilty of crimes. So it may have been just that one guy for that one time, but there were people who were listening and who now might go, well, what do you mean guilty? Well, tell me more, right? And which, when you think about it from a business standpoint, and let's face it, CNN is in the business of making money. They're in the business of entertainment and clickbait. They're not there to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So now that a lot of this stuff about Trump is coming out, now this guy presented the information as if it's the, oh my God, I just got this. What is going on? It's not like, yeah, this has been going on for the last 2.5 years. Where have you been? It's presenting it like, oh, we just got this, so that they can walk it back. So that as people around Trump start to fall away and I'm not sure I can support him and so on, they could say, well, as soon as we heard, we went right on the air and we told everyone. It's kind of like Vance saying that, well, yeah, there was a peaceful transition of power on January 20th. Was there? Was there really? Was your guy at the inauguration? Was he there? No.
And the comeback is always, I'm not focused on 2020. I'm focused on 2024. Why do you guys have to keep bringing this up? Well, because your boy, your guy keeps bringing it up, so he can't let us forget about it. And then Trump does say a whole bunch of stuff. I honestly do believe that Trump does a bunch of stuff just to stay in the news cycle.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The more people say his name, whether they say it negatively or positively, they are saying his name.
Yes.
So I say
There's
we all
no such thing as bad press. It's just press.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's worked for him through the whole Biden administration. I mean, we want to hear about Biden, but instead it's about Trump. And I'm so tired of it. And I think a lot of people are just so tired of the chaos and the ridiculous things and who said what, when, and what kind of thing is he in trouble for now and how, but the support of him is just, it's just unusual. They're talking about it being weird. It is. It's just totally weird that so many people can't see the truth. And somebody, Jane mentioned on here, what does your mom think about the Cheneys? That they're staunch Republicans, and they've decided to go for Kamala.
Well, my mom would say, well, they're traitors. They aren't true Republicans. See, there's and they like to go to the false equivalencies all the time. Yeah. So, I mean, and so, yeah, I don't even know what to say to her anymore because of the fact that she's perfectly fine voting for somebody who would kill one of her great granddaughters.
Yeah.
And every single morning I'm screaming at her in the car because I have her in the car and I'm taking her over to the Mogadonian meeting where we go every morning and have coffee and I have to listen to this. But, and it's like, I can't get through to her. She doesn't believe that her Social Security is on the line, that, all of these services are on the line. they would never take away Social Security. Never.
Exactly.
They're going,
And they would be the most shocked that if Trump got in and all of a sudden that's social security check doesn't come. It was like, well, what do you, I didn't think that applied to me. Like, yes, I understand taking it away from people who don't need it or don't qualify for it or haven't put into it, or there's 1,000 other little reasons why, but it's okay to do it to them. I just never thought that they would do it to me.
I think that, Jane, that your mom, that there is many elderly people, or not
Yes.
even just elderly people, that would agree with her,
Yes.
would not look at what the facts are saying, and always have a reason of, like the Cheneys, or all, they're traitors. I think there's a lot of people that do that, and that is, at 90, I have sympathy for your mom, but this is a problem, I think, but maybe not. Maybe in the end, because there is more and more Republicans that are saying, you know what, I just can't do it. I can't live with myself and vote for Trump. They just can't do it. So,
And Lorraine, I'm sorry. I'm so
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Lorraine brings up a really good point that my mother doesn't even matter to MAGA. And I was watching something. They were talking, and I don't remember who said it, but I think they were talking to like a 50-year-old woman, and they're like, well, what do you care if you can't get an abortion? You're 50. You're not having a baby. You're not getting pregnant. Well, I'm sorry. This isn't like, I don't only just think of myself. I'm thinking about
Well,
I'm
it's
thinking
not
about
just abortion. It's women's rights all the way around, regardless of age. I mean, I guess maybe some people are missing the point on that. They're like, well, I don't agree with abortion either, so I'm going within that direction, not understanding that it's women's rights in general, that if they can pull this off, pretty soon women can't vote. Women can't have a credit card.
No. Can't own property. Can't own a business.
Yeah. They want to turn back the time, they want to turn back time and do it the old way. God knows why. I don't know. I mean, that will just never, ever happen. Women will be like, oh, hell no.
Yes,
no, we're not doing it this way.
No.
So, and I think that there's a lot of Republican women that are going to be voting Democrat.
Yeah.
Just for
definitely. I do think the younger women will be, but like my mother, there's just no hope. The only thing I can think is maybe she won't have a ride to the polls that day. I don't know.
Oh, it's amazing how those things come up.
Right? Like maybe I'll have to drive the car home that I bought for her. Maybe I'll just drive that home because I really don't want to get on an airplane right before the election. Because people drink and they get fussy on airplanes, and I'm supposed to leave right before.
Yes,
I wanted home for to vote, and so I'm kind of like, and I did the Lenormand 2 times this morning because I was like, am I going to fly on this plane, or is my husband going to drive out from Indiana, come pick me up and take me home like he's done in the past? Because I've had this happen before, and both times that I did Lenormand, it came up with the ship and the man right next to it. So that's traveling with a man. And then I was like, oh, no, this can't be right. Really, I can fly home. So I'm reshuffling. I'm like, I got this wrong. And again, the ship and the man. So I called my husband and I'm like, just a heads up. I was doing my cards this morning and you might be picking me up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or I might be driving the BMW home that we bought for it's a crappy old BMW. Don't think that I bought my mom anything nice. It just happened to be the car that was the price we could afford. So I might drive that home.
Still. Well, there you go. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
that there are some people who the only reason that they vote the way they do is because that's the way our family has done it for generations. You know, my dad voted Republican, my granddad voted Republican, my great granddad. We're a Republican family. We vote Republican. Why? Tell me something about their. We vote Republican. And it's not, and there are same thing with Democrats. Let's face it, there are some people who, yeah, would say same thing about Democrat or independent, and whether that's in the US or whether it's up here in Canada or anywhere else, there are those people whose minds are, nope, this is how I vote. I know when I go in there, I don't care the name, I'm looking for the party, and that's the one that I tick off. What if your guy's an asshole? It doesn't matter. I'm voting for the party. I know it's enough. You just want to shake your head and go.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Snap
when you
out
shake
of
your
it.
head, you hear a sound. Yeah. So, anyway, I think you know what. I think we did kind of. Yeah, I think we covered a good number of things that I wanted to cover. And just maybe lastly, Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris campaigning together today in Ripon, Wisconsin, which is thought to be the birthplace of the Republican Party. So,
Wow.
isn't that wonderful? Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris.
That's
Yeah, that's what you do when you care for your country more than you do for your party. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of Liz Cheney. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her, but I appreciate the gesture and I appreciate what she's doing and not towing the party line.
Well, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate what she did with the January 6th
Yeah.
insurrection and having these whatever they were, trials or
Yeah.
hearings or whatever
Yes.
committee she was on. On the other hand, I know early on when I would get in groups and we would talk about Liz Cheney, and I was kind of not really so much for her, but I had more positive things to say about her. Oh my God, people came down on me like I could not believe. But really, what Liz Cheney, she has been born into the Republican Party,
Yes.
and she totally supports that, and she supports her dad. And I just think that she wants the Republican Party to come back to be a normal party.
Yeah.
I
Don't
think
we
that's
all
what
want
she
that?
wants.
Yes.
I mean, I want that too. I want to be able to coexist,
Yes.
on that level again, and
Yes.
have stimulating conversations of both sides of the
Yes.
coin. It just can't. It's
Exactly.
not right now. So
No.
Well, and I really think it's so important to have at least a two-party system, if not a three-party system. I
Yes.
see, I do see maybe down the line when, it'll be Republican, Democrat, and independents. Even though independents tend to go towards the Democratic side, I think that they should break it up into thirds because that makes it less, 30-30-30 or 33-33. I mean, it makes it more challenging to kind of get to the right place instead of, you know, the Republicans constantly looking at us like Democrats suck, and the Democrats looking around like, what are they talking about now? What are they doing? I mean, it's such craziness. But hopefully, I mean, I understand what Liz Cheney's trying to do, and I give her credit for doing it. Like I
Yep.
said, not that I'm really a fan or anything, but she's trying to make a difference in the right way. And
Yeah.
the fact that her dad said, I'm going for Kamala Harris, that's a big deal. That's
It
really
it
a
is.
big deal.
it is. It's huge, especially coming um, from such a long line of with such a long Republican heritage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she was weaned on Republican talking points and whatnot. So, to recognize that there is something that the other side is offering that is more valuable to the whole than what it is to that person. You know,
Yeah.
I can respect that. We're not best friends. We're not going to go have coffee, but I can respect that decision, that one decision. So,
I mean, at least she realizes that the only reason why he wants to be president is to stay out of prison.
yes.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
I forgot that one little detail. Thank you, Jane.
Yes.
so,
He may never see the inside of a prison cell, but you know what? That prison inside his head, the number of people that occupy space there rent free is amazing. I wouldn't trade places with him for 1,000 different lifetimes. But nope, you can have it. So,
well,
ladies, thank you, thank you, thank you. Another fabulous, fabulous show. So, thank you to all of you folks who have joined us. I think at one point we had just a little over 100 folks, which is
Yay.
fantastic. Yeah, it's wonderful. So
Thank
don't
you
forget
all.
to like, share, and subscribe. And tomorrow at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'll be on Aley's channel as we do Story in the Cards. Okay, so
Oh, cool.
join us for that. Another kind of political discussion, but we tend to use our nasty cards. So there's that.
Yeah.
All right, Jane, thank you for joining us. Cleo, thank you for doing this again. And you guys have a fabulous evening, and we'll see you later.
Yeah,
Bye.